Hi class, Mrs. Calvi here. Quick review on solving multiplication and division inequalities. So I have the inequality x divided by 11 is less than 3. So we are going to solve as if it's an equation, but it's not an inequality, same process. Here we have division. In order to get rid of that 11, we need to do the opposite, which is multiplication. So we are going to multiply both sides by 11. The 11's on the left cancel. I have x is less than, I'm going to do 3 times 11, which is 33. Okay, and now I need to graph. X is less than 33. So you would draw your number line. I am going to save time and not write out all of my numbers on my number line. These are going to be going by tens. So 33, if I were to mark off where halfway between 30 and 40 would be, which is 35, that would be right in the middle there. And I look to see that my variable's on the left, which it is. That's step one. So I don't need to change it, and I'm just going to follow the direction of my inequality symbol. I'm then going to look to see if it's going to be an open or closed circle. It's going to be a closed circle because I don't have the equal bar. So I'm going to look for, it's going to be an open circle because I don't have the equal bar. I think I said closed. It's going to be an open circle. So at 33 is about here. I'm going to put an open circle. And my inequality symbol is pointing left, so I'm going to draw my arrow going left. And then I would put 33, just so I know that that is supposed to be 33. Okay? So remember, step one, make sure your variable is on the left. If it is not, switch it so it is on the left. And then when you go to graph, you are just following your inequality symbol. All right, let's try another one. Okay, so I want to show you something, the difference between adding and subtracting inequalities and multiplying and dividing inequalities. So this is the problem that we just did. X divided by 11 is less than 3. And in order to get rid of that 11, we had to multiply both sides by 11. Now, this 11 was positive. So I solved the way I would normally solve an equation, except for, of course, it's an inequality. I want to show you the difference now with multiplying and dividing when the number that you're getting rid of is a negative. So things are going to change a little bit. It's not bad. It's pretty easy. You just have to remember that when you are getting rid of the number that is negative for multiplication and division only, we are going to actually end up flipping our inequality symbol. All right, so let's solve this one. So I'm going to go ahead and solve as if I normally would solve. So I want to get rid of that negative 6. So I'm going to multiply both sides just as we were solving equations. When we are multiplying and dividing, we take the sign with us. So we are going to multiply both sides by negative 6. So this is not changing from what we did when we were solving equations. Now, the one thing we're going to have to remember here is, well, first of all, these cancel. I'm dropping down my x. Because I moved a negative number, I have to now flip my inequality symbol. So it is no longer going to be greater than or equal to, it's going to be less than or equal to. So if as I'm solving multiplication and division inequalities, if I end up multiplying or dividing by a negative number, so the number that I'm looking to get rid of, so in this case, I needed to get rid of that negative 6. Because it was negative, my inequality symbol will be flipped. Okay? All right, so let's continue. So now figure out your sign first. A positive times a negative is a negative. 7 times 6 is 42. All right, now I would solve, or I would graph the way I would typically graph. Step 1, look to see that my variable is on the left, which it is. Step 2, look to see whether it's going to be an open or closed circle. Okay, so I'm going to go by tens. It would probably be better to go by fives just because it would be more accurate, but I'm trying to save time here. I'm going to mark off my 45 mark, where my 45 is, and I'm on the wrong side. I have to actually do negatives, so I'm just realizing that now, so I have to go in this direction. So this would be my negative 50. This would be my negative 40. I'm not filling in all the numbers just to save time. My negative 45 would be here. So negative 42, I can kind of figure out where that's going to be. So now open or close circle. It's going to be a closed circle because I have my equal bar. So 42 is going to be about here. My variable's on the left so I can follow my inequality symbol. So it's going left. And I'm going to put negative 42. So I know that's the point I'm actually graphing. Okay, so again, when we solve multiplication and division inequalities, if the number we are looking to get rid of, the number that is with the variable, if that number that we're getting rid of is a negative, you have to remember to flip your inequality symbol to the other direction. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, so here we are getting rid of, again, a negative, if you notice. So I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 6. The negative 6 on my right are going to cancel. The number that I moved was negative, so that's going to tell me I'm going to flip my inequality symbol in the other direction. Okay? Now I would do 4.8 times negative 6. Figure out your sign first because that's important so you don't forget about it. A negative times a positive is going to be a negative. 4.8 times 6 actually gives me 28 and 8/10. Okay, so now I would go to graph. So step 1, make sure that my variable is on the left. Here it is not. So remember, I'm going to rewrite it, but you have to make sure that the alligator's mouth is still open to the same either variable or number. So here my alligator mouth is eating the negative 28 and 8/10. So I have to make sure when I flip this, it is still eating the negative 28 and 8/10. Okay. All right. So now we are going to graph negative 10, negative 20, negative 30. Now this is where I didn't leave myself enough room. I told you when you're going to tenths, you should do all those little lines, 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10. This is way too small. You would obviously do it larger on your paper. I'm going to look to see if it's going to be an open or closed circle. It is a closed circle at 28 and 8/10. So 25, actually this one's just more difficult because it's going to be in between somewhere in here. So if I know that this mark is negative 25, negative 28 and 8/10 is somewhere going to be over here, close circle, close to the negative 30, going left. Okay, yours will be a lot neater because you're going to have a lot more space. All right, I'm going to do one more and that will be it. Okay, so here it is multiplication, so we are going to use division to get rid of this. We need to get rid of that 4, so we are going to divide both sides by 4. If you notice, it is not a negative. I am not moving a negative, so I am not flipping my inequality symbol. All right, these 4's cancel. X is greater than 9/4. But this is improper. You should always put it in mixed as a mixed number. 9/4 is equivalent to 2 1/4. So now I have X is greater than 2 1/4. You would then go ahead and graph. I don't need to, my variable is on the left. I don't need to change the inequality. It does not have an equal bar, so that means it's going to be an open circle. So I would have an open circle at 2 1/4 going to the right. I'm not going to graph just to save time. All right. I want to do one multiplication one that has a negative, just because we didn't go over one of those. Okay, so if I had negative 60, negative 60 is greater than or equal to negative 12y. So I'm going to go ahead and solve the way I normally would. I am going to get rid of that negative 12. To do that, I'm going to divide both sides by negative 12. So right away, I know I am moving a negative number. That immediately tells me I have to flip my inequality symbol. So do it right away so you don't forget. These 12s cancel. Bring down our y. Figure out our sign. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. 60 divided by 12 is 5. Okay. I see that my variable is on the left. On the right, rather. I know I'm going to need to change it, so it is on the left. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So y, the alligator's mouth is open to the y. It still has to be open to the y. And now box in the one you're graphing so you don't get confused as to which one you are graphing. Number line. To save time, I'm not putting all of my numbers in. My variable is now on my left. It's going to be a closed circle because I have my equal bar. I'm going to follow my inequality symbol. And it is going to the right. Okay, that is all for now, and I will talk to you guys soon.